Hi all, in this video I'll be going through the Pokemon Red Figma. It's obviously a Trainer Red. It's the first Pokemon Figma that they've done. They've done Nendoroids in the past, of quite a few different characters, Red included. But this is the first time they're doing in the Figma line of Pokemon characters. And it has to be Red, of course. And from first look, he's quite cool. He looks pretty good. He looks pretty serious as well. And he comes with quite a few different optional hand parts, and of course he comes with the 3 Kanto starters, so Bulbasaur, Charmander and Squirtle. So as always, I'm going to go through the optional parts first, and then through the figurines, and then of course the 3 little figurines as well. So let's put these guys to the side and bring out the optional parts. So first up, let's just get rid of the stand. The stand is pretty much just a given with a Figma figurine. You'll always get it. They're always doing the good work with that. And it works quite well, but as you saw, he didn't actually need it. For the optional hand parts, he comes with a decent amount of different hands. I've just left most of them on here because it's easier actually. So I like when Figma do give this part to just kind of keep everything together. So the right hand's on the top and then the left hand's on the bottom. So he comes with an open hand piece and then a clutching hand. So this one clutches the Pokeball itself, whereas the one that you just saw that he's got on him is one that just rests. It's more like a cupping hand. So this one clutches and grabs a hold of the Pokeball. This one is the slightly open fist. There's not really anything that he can use it for. There's no like optional accessory that uses it, but he has both left and right of that. And of course he has the finger pointing hand just for the right hand, which is a given for any Pokemon figurine. You need that. And then he has one for his cap. So if he wants to kind of hold the bill of his cap, then you want to use this one. And then on the left hand, he's got again the open palm and then the slightly open fist. And then this one is the default fist that already comes with him. I've taken it off and left it on here purely because it was difficult, and when I did originally take it off, the peg got stuck. Which thankfully they do actually give you a spare ball joint for the wrist. So mine was very, very finicky. It was actually a hassle. I had to use a hairdryer just to get it out of the hand. So that's a good thing to have a spare. I've complained about those in the past. But moving on to the figurines itself, let's start with the starters. Oh, sorry, no, let's go with the face piece. So he has an extra face. He only comes with 2 faces for this Figma. So he has the default face, the serious one that he's got on him. I'll show you that closer in a minute. And this one is the yelling face, which still looks pretty serious as well. I guess red is not really much for chilling out, maybe. So this is quite good. It's nicely sculpted. The eyes and eyebrows and everything, the facial features in general are quite good. On the ears, also pretty good. And then of course the mouth as well. So that's cool for his second face. I'll show you how to swap that over afterwards when I get to the main figure. And then for the 3 starters, these aren't posable at all. Oops, dropped Charmander. These aren't posable at all. They are just static figurines. Oh, I keep dropping Charmander. Sorry about that. So yeah, they are just static figurines with no articulation at all on them. They look quite nice. They are painted decently as well. So get a closer look one by one. So let's start with Bulbasaur actually. So Bulbasaur is looking, well, delighted. So it's quite nice. Green looks quite good, and all the patches on his body are nicely done as well. A bit of dust on him, excuse that. And then his little teeth as well in the front. So it's a nice cute looking Bulbasaur. And then Charmander. Charmander is, when you try to pose him, he's kind of might wobble a bit, but he's okay. He stands decently well if you've got a flat surface, as you should. But hey, he looks nice. Again, the eyes, it's all a matte type of finish, not like there's no gloss in the eyes or anything like that. So he looks quite nice in my opinion. His tail looks pretty good. The fire on the tail is nice as well. And his underbelly and his paws, all quite good, and his teeth as well. And then finally, there's Squirtle. Squirtle also looks really nice. All 3 of them, they all look consistent and really, really nicely done. His shell looks quite good. His tail as well. And then on his underside. So that's cool for the starters. bringing out then Red himself, and he's fallen down and dropped the Pokeball. So just to get it out of the way, this is the cupping hand. It doesn't actually clutch the Pokeball like the other hand does, which I'll show you right here. Might as well show you. So this is the clutching the hand. It actually grabs the Pokeball, and as you can see, it doesn't come off. The Pokeball doesn't fall out. Whereas the one that I've just put on him is just a simple cupping hand, so the ball just rests in the hand, but it does fall out like so. So that's just the only difference really between the two. I would have preferred if they just gave two clutching hands, but it's okay. It's no big deal. So I'm going to put the Pokeball to the side. Actually, before that, I'll show you the Pokeball in a closer look. It's a regular Pokeball. There's not much more to say about it. I think the one that SH Figuarts had with the Ash figurine, I think looked a bit better. Personal preference, but Pokeballs look like very similar anyway. From manufacturer to manufacturer. So this one it's okay. It gets the job done. Now, as for Red himself, so this is the figurine. I've actually attached his backpack to him. The backpack does come separately, so you have to kind of. It doesn't come with detachable straps. You have to put it onto him and by folding his arm backwards and all sorts. I'll take it off just because it's easier, but it does come separately. Anyway, so this is Red. His face, default face, is quite serious, and he's got his cap on. Everything about him looks quite good. You know, he's not the tallest or largest or bulkiest of figurines. He's just a boy at the end of the day. So my hand is just a normal man's hand. So he's, you know, relatively decently sized. I didn't actually measure him, but yeah, he's okay. And then backside, bottom of his shoes. You can plug in the stand into directly into his back if you need to, because there is a peg on the backpack, or directly into the backpack should you have the backpack attached like I have. But then let's take a look at his movement. Then I'll show you how to change his face and a couple of his hands. And that's really all there is to cover with Red. So movement wise, okay, so I struggle with this anyway because his collar is raised. He always likes his collars up. So and because of his hair, it gets trapped. He can't look up very much. So trying to get his hair back in, he can't look up. That's about as far up as he can look. Not much. He can look down though, about that much. But forget about looking up. Left and right, he can kind of turn around as well. Obviously, with the raised collar, you just raise his chin up. But, you know, it's fine to just go about that much anyway. There's no need to really go any further than that. His details on his hair do look good as well, by the way. That's quite good. These bangs are attached to his cap. I'll show you that once I sort the face. And then for his arms, slightly restricted right now just because of the straps of the backpack. So his shoulders can go up about that far. Probably a bit more if you play around with it. They can drop down as well. You can see from the, I'll show you, raise this one, and then yeah, so his right shoulder is raised up a bit, left one kind of drops down. You can do that for extended range of movement. Again, because of the strap, it will restrict it for now. Without the strap, he can move, you know, a decent amount. It's pretty standard, you know, what you'll get out of him. And then for his elbow, let's do bicep crunch curl. Like so, and then sometimes it can kind of bend backwards a little bit more than that, but for now that's what I've got. But I guess it depends on the position of the tricep where it is. But yeah, he can bend his elbow as so, a reasonable amount, not much more that you'd want from that. He's not exactly a gymnast or anything. And then for his hand, the usual, this one, because it's this hand, it doesn't really need to go that much. He can cup it and then bring it forward that much, and then pivot it like so, and move it like so, and then of course it twists, all the usual. Same for the other hands on the other side of his body as well. For his torso, because of the backpack, is slightly restricted now, so he can kind of crunch. There you go. There's a little bit. It's slightly different to what I normally expect. Usually, the rib cage area is overlapping the stomach area. This time it's the reverse, where the stomach is overlapping the ribcage. It's slightly new. It's not something I've seen in any of the previous Figmas I have. Not that I've opened all of them. But it might not be new to you, but that's just something to point out. Then, yeah, he can twist, of course, as well. Left and right, all the way around. You can pull him apart as usual as well. And then for his legs, he's got the slits on his jeans. So when you lift his leg up, it will split apart a bit. So you're not damaging it if it was no split or anything like that. And you can bring his leg back, and then the knee bends about like just this far back. Not too much, but it's okay. And then for his foot, it doesn't go too much because of his baggy pants. The toe kind of, well, let's straighten the toe, but that's about as far as he can move his foot, like so. And then of course he can twist it. And then of course the toe, which I just showed. But you're not going to get much movement on the actual ankle side of things. It's enough to get cool poses, and really we don't need too much on red. And yeah, I should mention he's also got slits underneath the strap over here. So once you've taken off, he gets even more movement as well. Let me take his backpack off just to show you how it's done, or how I did it. So you just, there's a peg that goes right into his back as well. So you kind of just have to take that off. It's a fairly long peg. And then pull the straps over his shoulders. It's almost like a real backpack actually. But, well, you use, you spread his arms like this. That's not how I put on my backpack, but maybe you do. And then yeah, you just pull the straps around. And then like so, it's easier to take it off. When you put it on, you probably end up twisting his arm and then bending it like so, just to get his arms in. Because there's no detachable bit on the straps. You just have to feed his arms through. And then here's the peg as well that goes directly into his back. Right here. So that's his backpack. Now to swap his face. So his cap comes off. Like so, he'll probably end up pulling off his entire head at this rate. It's a bit stiff. And there we go. And parts of his hair are already attached to the cap itself. Whoops. Some of the paint as well is a bit rough, so I'm not sure how clear it will come out, but on the cap it's a little bit rough, and then same with the front of his shoes, but it's excusable. Anyway, so that's his cap come off, and then you just pull off the face, and then we'll swap it with his replacement one, like so, and then put on the cap. And there we go. He's now got a new face. So he only comes with 2 faces, like I said, which is a little bit less than I was expecting. I thought he might come with a 3rd one. So that's a little bit disappointing. But there you go. He has 2 faces. And then for his hands, I will show you the left hand for now, because it's the one I had a problem with. Just to kind of show you what I meant with the trouble of the stuck peg. So it was a default fist, so this one I take off the hand I replaced. That one's easy. The peg doesn't get so stuck in the other hands. But this is the fist, because it's deeper. I'll put it on properly, like so. And then let's see if the whole joint gets stuck inside the hand instead. So we'll just pull it off, and there we go. Because I've loosened it a bit, I can kind of like hold or use my nails to hold the ball inside, and then just slowly, as you can see, it's slowly coming off anyway, but I have to really force it to get it to not get stuck in its fist. So that was a bit annoying. It was actually it took a little bit of time to actually get it free again, and I've said in my other videos in the past with Revoltech especially that it does happen a lot, but thankfully with Figma you do get the spare joint. So should that happen and you don't have any way or are afraid of breaking the joint in the hand, then leave the joint in the hand and replace it with this one. Hopefully this one won't give you the same problem, and then just replace the other hands as and when you need to, and then if you want to use the fist, just put the fist back in. So it's good to have a spare joint, and so I'm very, very grateful that Figma have added that. But I'll show you how to replace it on his right hand. Well, replace different hands, because I didn't have the same problem. So let's give him the finger pointing hand, because that's always a good one. You just take it off, pull off the hand, and then plug it in, like so, and there we go. He's now got the finger pointing hand. It's as easy as that. It's like any other figurine. It's not difficult. The only annoyance that comes with it is if the peg gets stuck in the hand itself, like I just showed you. Other than that, that's pretty much Red all around. There's not a whole lot more to talk about him. He is a pretty vanilla looking figurine, or vanilla figurine overall. But I do think Pokemon fans will really enjoy it and really like what Good Smile have done with him, how he's actually turned out from the concept to final build. And then they can also look forward to, I guess, the female trainer from the Alola region, which is the next Figma that's coming out. I hope actually that they can eventually do blue-green as the rival, just because it makes sense, and they did it for the Nendoroid. But that's the one I'd be really interested in getting. So that's basically Red. If you are a Pokemon fan, I think you'll enjoy it. If you're not a Pokemon fan, or well, I don't really know why you'd want to get it. It's a really simple figure overall, and it looks nice, minus the, you can excuse the rough paint work on the two, the cap and the trainers. But otherwise, it is what it is. It's a relatively plain and vanilla figurine, but I like it. With that said, thanks for watching. Do check out my other videos as well. There's a couple of other Pokemon ones if you're just into that, or if you're into Marvel stuff or other stuff, then by all means peruse at your leisure. Thanks for watching.